I remember the exact sound it made, not the usual Amber Alert tone, not the soft government chime we've all learned to ignore. This one was deeper, longer. It vibrated through the bones in my hand before it reached my ears. I was on the subway when it happened, 6:42 p.m., early winter. The car smelled like wet coats and metal brakes. Someone was playing music too loud through headphones. A kid was crying near the doors. Normal city noise. Then every phone in the car went off at the same time. The sound overlapped, stacked, distorted. It felt wrong. People flinched. A few cursed. Someone laughed nervously. I looked down at my screen. Emergency alert, mandatory shelter directive, stay indoors, do not exit your residence, do not look outside, this is not a drill. The message repeated 3 times. Then the screen glitched. For half a second, the text warped into something else. Stay inside forever. Then it snapped back to normal. The train slowed unexpectedly between stations. The lights flickered once. No one spoke for a few seconds. Then the murmuring started. What is this? Is this terrorism? Cyber attack? Hack? The conductor's voice crackled over the intercom. Dead air, then breathing, heavy breathing, then silence. We sat there in that tunnel for almost 4 minutes. No movement, no signal bars, just dim fluorescent lighting and the low hum of the train. My phone still showed the alert. The "do not look outside" line pulsed faintly, like it was refreshing. When the train finally started moving again, it didn't announce the next stop. The doors opened. No one got on. No one got off. The platform was empty, completely empty, which doesn't happen here, ever. A woman near me leaned toward the window instinctively. Her friend grabbed her arm. "Don't," she whispered. Nervous laughter again. The doors closed. We moved. At the next station, same things. Empty platform, no staff, no announcements. By the 3rd stop, people started getting off anyway. Panic logic. Better above ground than stuck underground. I stayed on. I don't know why. Something about the message, specifically that line, "Do not look outside." That wasn't how emergency alerts worked. They tell you to avoid areas, avoid travel, seek shelter. They don't tell you not to look. When I finally reached my stop, I stepped out slowly. The station was quiet. Too quiet. No buskers, no arguments, no footsteps echoing from the tunnels. I climbed the stairs, and that's when I noticed something else. No sirens. In this city, there are always sirens. Ambulances, police, fire trucks, background noise. But outside? Nothing. The street was normal. Cars parked, traffic lights cycling, storefronts lit. But there were no people, no pedestrians, no drivers, no movement. I stood on the sidewalk, my breath visible in the cold air. Every building around me had lights on, but no one was visible through the windows. My phone buzzed again. The same alert. Stay indoors. Do not exit your residence. Do not look outside. Underneath it now. Return home immediately. My apartment was 3 blocks away. The walk felt longer. Every footstep echoed too clearly. The wind moved trash along the curb. A newspaper scraped across asphalt like something crawling. I passed a car, stopped at a green light. Engine running. Driver's door open. Empty. I didn't look inside. I kept walking. When I reached my building, the front door was unlocked, which it never is. I stepped into the lobby. Lights on, mailboxes closed, elevator humming faintly. No neighbors. I checked my phone again. No signal, just the alert. I got into the elevator. As the doors closed, I caught a glimpse of the street behind me. For a split second, I thought I saw someone standing on the opposite sidewalk, completely still, facing me, but the doors shut before I could focus. The elevator ride felt too slow. The fluorescent light flickered once overhead. I stared at the floor numbers. They felt delayed, like they changed a half-second too late. When I reached my apartment, my hands were shaking slightly as I unlocked the door. Inside felt normal, familiar, safe. I locked the door immediately, then the deadbolt, then the chain. I stood there listening. Nothing. I walked to the living room. Every instinct told me to check the window, but the message echoed in my mind. Do not look outside. That line kept replaying. Why? Why specify that? I turned on the TV. Every channel showed the same emergency banner, but no news anchors, no press conference, just a static government screen repeating the directive. At the bottom, a timer counted upward. 00:1844, 00:1845, 00:1846. I didn't know what it was counting from. I called my sister. No connection. I texted friends. Messages sent. No replies. Around 8:15 p.m., I heard the first knock. 3 taps, soft, from my apartment door. I froze. I wasn't expecting anyone. I didn't move. The knock came again. 3 taps, evenly spaced. I approached the door slowly. Hello? No answer. I looked through the peephole. I know. The alert didn't say not to look through peepholes, just not to look outside. I leaned closer and immediately stepped back. The hallway lights were off, pitch black. Our hallway lights are motion sensor. They should have turned on, but through the peephole, nothing, just darkness, like the corridor didn't exist anymore. Another 3 taps, this time slightly louder. My phone buzzed. New alert update, do not open the door. My heart started pounding hard enough that I felt dizzy. The knocking stopped. Silence returned. I backed away slowly. Then I heard something worse. A voice, muffled, from the other side of the door. Please, it whispered. It sounded like my neighbor, the guy across the hall. I forgot my keys. The voice cracked slightly, cold, strained. I felt my body lean toward the door automatically. But something was wrong. The timing. He had gotten off work at 6 p.m. usually. I saw him almost every night, and he always carried keys. Always. Another whisper. Please let me in. Then, 3 taps. My phone vibrated again. New directive. If you hear your name, do not respond. My blood went ice cold. From the hallway, the voice changed tone. It wasn't whispering anymore. It was clearer, stronger. It said my name, perfectly, exactly how my sister says it. 3 taps followed. My vision blurred slightly. I stepped backward. The voice started trying different tones. My mother, a friend, even my own voice, saying my name from outside the door. Each attempt followed by 3 measured knocks. My apartment felt smaller, the walls closer, the air heavier. I went to the bathroom to splash water on my face. The mirror above the sink reflected me, pale, sweating, eyes wide. Behind me, the bathroom door was closed, but I could see something through the reflection. A thin line of darkness at the bottom, like a shadow moving. I turned quickly. Nothing there. I looked back at the mirror. For a fraction of a second, my reflection was still facing forward. Even though I had turned, it corrected itself immediately. But I saw it. It lagged. The knocking stopped around 9 p.m., but something replaced it. Footsteps, outside, slow, dragging, moving past my door, then stopping, then continuing, up and down the hallway. The TV timer kept counting. 2:13:22, 2:13:23, 2:13:24. Around 10:47 p.m., the power flickered, then went out. Complete darkness. My phone became the only light source, battery at 38%. Another alert pushed through. Power disruption is expected. Do not seek alternative shelter. I sat on the couch in silence, listening. No sirens, no cars, no city noise, just faint movement in the hallway. Around midnight, it started tapping on the windows. 3 taps, soft. I live on the 14th floor. There's no fire escape outside my window. The tapping continued, moving slowly across the glass, like fingers sliding. My entire body locked up. The alert updated again. Do not look outside. The tapping stopped directly in front of where I was sitting. 3 taps, then a whisper through the glass. Just look. I squeezed my eyes shut. The whisper came again, closer, right against the window. We can see you. I don't know how long I sat there. Eventually, the whispering stopped. The tapping stopped. Everything stopped. And the silence that followed was worse than the noise. At 2:03 a.m., the alert changed one final time. Containment phase complete. Remain indoors until further notice. The timer reset to 0, then began counting upward again. That's when I heard it. Not from the hallway, not from the window, from inside my apartment. 3 taps, soft, from my bedroom. Have you ever heard something inside your home that you knew wasn't supposed to be there? Because I'm sitting here now, typing this on 12% battery. The bedroom door is closed, and every few minutes, it taps 3 times. I don't know how long this directive lasts. I don't know what's outside, but I think I understand one thing now. The alert wasn't protecting us from something out there. It was keeping something in. If you received the same emergency alert tonight, would you stay inside or would you look? I didn't open my bedroom door, not when it tapped again, not when the handle shifted slightly, not even when I heard my own voice from the other side whisper, "It's fine, it's just me." My battery hit 9%. The emergency banner was still frozen at the top of my screen. Containment phase complete. Remain indoors until further notice. The timer had reset. 0312, 0313, 0314. I stared at it. Containment. That word wouldn't leave my head. Containment implies something escaped, or something was released. The tapping came again, 3 times, slow, measured, from inside my bedroom. I stood up. I didn't plan to, my body just did. The apartment felt colder than before, like the heat had shut off. Every step toward the hallway felt amplified. The floorboards creaked beneath my weight. The bedroom door was fully closed now. I never close it. I always sleep with it open. There was a thin line of darkness at the bottom, darker than the hallway. Not just shadow, depth. Like it wasn't a room behind that door, like it was space. The handle twitched, just once. My phone buzzed. New directive. Do not engage with internal variants. Internal variants. My heart started pounding. I swallowed. What does that mean? I whispered. The door tapped 3 times in response. Then, a voice. My voice, perfectly synced. Open it. It sounded calm, not desperate, not distorted, just me. The handle turned slowly downward, but the door didn't open. It couldn't. It was locked from my side. The tapping stopped. Silence. Then something dragged across the floor inside the bedroom. Slow, heavy, like furniture being moved, except my bedroom doesn't have heavy furniture. Another buzz. The alert updated again. Visual contact will accelerate replication. I stepped back immediately. Replication. That word hit harder than anything else. The hallway light flickered, then steadied. I felt watched, not from the door, from behind me. I turned slowly, the living room window. There was something pressed against the glass, tall, humanoid, but featureless. Not black, not white, just absence, like a cutout in reality. It didn't move, it didn't tap, it just stood there. My phone vibrated violently in my hand. Do not look outside. Too late. The thing at the window tilted its head. Then it smiled. not with a mouth, but with understanding. And in the reflection of the glass, I saw something worse. Inside my apartment, behind me, standing in the hallway, a second me, watching me watch it. I spun around, nothing there. I looked back at the window. The shape was gone. My reflection looked normal, except it blinked a half-second late. My breathing turned shallow. I backed away from the window. The bedroom door creaked, slowly, opening inward, on its own. The room beyond wasn't dark anymore. It was lit, but wrong. The light inside flickered at a different rhythm than the hallway. I could see my bed, my desk, but they looked slightly offset, like a duplicate room laid over the real one. And standing in the center was me, facing the doorway. It looked exhausted, eyes sunken, skin pale. It lifted its hand and tapped on the inside of the doorframe. 3 times. I felt something shift in my chest, like pressure building. The alert flashed red now. Convergence imminent, do not approach. The version of me inside the room spoke. You already let it in. Its voice echoed slightly, layered, like 2 voices speaking in sync. I shook my head. I didn't open anything. It smiled faintly. You looked. My stomach dropped. The thing at the window, the reflection lag, that counted. It stepped closer to the doorway. Its movements were slightly delayed, like bad internet buffering. Every motion snapped into place half a second late. You were never alone, it continued. The alert wasn't sent to protect you. It was sent to protect the others. From what? I whispered. It tilted its head. From merging. The hallway lights dimmed. The apartment walls hummed faintly, like electrical current running through something that shouldn't carry power. I felt pressure in my ears, a low-frequency vibration. The timer on my phone started glitching. 0012 0488 minus 103000. The bedroom version of me stepped fully into the hallway, and as it crossed the threshold, the air rippled, like heat distortion. For a moment, I saw more versions behind it. Dozens, stacked in layers, some screaming, some smiling, some completely blank, all trying to move forward. The alert screamed across my screen, "Close your eyes." I did, instantly. The vibration intensified. The air felt thick, like wading through water. I heard footsteps, multiple, circling me, whispers overlapping, fragments of my own thoughts spoken aloud. You shouldn't have looked. It spreads through awareness. You are the doorway. My knees buckled. I collapsed to the floor, still keeping my eyes shut. The whispers got closer, hot breath against my ear. Then, 3 taps, right against my forehead. I almost screamed. My phone buzzed again. Containment failed, initiating internal lockdown. The apartment shook violently. Something slammed against the walls, the bedroom door, the windows, the front door. Everything at once. Then, silence. Heavy. Oppressive. I slowly opened my eyes. The hallway was empty. The bedroom door was closed again. The living room window showed nothing but darkness. The emergency alert had changed. Final directive. You may exit. For a moment, I felt relief. It was over. Whatever this was, it was finished. The timer stopped. The TV flickered back on. Normal programming. News anchors back in their seats, talking about a brief network anomaly. No mention of evacuation. No mention of containment. Just normal. My phone had signal again. Messages flooded in. Did you get that weird alert? Probably a hack. Government glitch, LOL. I stood up slowly, walked to my front door, unlocked the chain, unlocked the deadbolt, opened it. The hallway lights were on, neighbors' doors closed. Normal. I stepped into the corridor. It smelled like cleaning solution. Quiet. I walked toward the elevator. Everything felt real, grounded. I pressed the button, waited. The doors opened. I stepped inside. As they closed, I caught my reflection in the elevator mirror. It looked tired, shaken, but normal. Until it blinked, and I didn't. My reflection's smile spread slowly, wider than mine. It leaned closer to the mirror from inside and tapped on the glass 3 times. The elevator jolted, the lights flickered, then the emergency tone went off again. But this time, only from inside the elevator. My phone didn't buzz. The sound came from the walls, from the ceiling, from inside the metal. A mechanical voice spoke. Shelter directive reinstated. Stay inside. Forever. The elevator doors opened, but it wasn't my lobby. It was my apartment hallway, except every door was open, every unit empty, lights flickering in sync. And at the far end, hundreds of versions of me stood shoulder to shoulder, facing the elevator, waiting. Each one lifted a hand and knocked 3 times, in perfect unison. The doors slammed shut again. The elevator began descending, except the floor numbers weren't decreasing. They were multiplying. 14, 28, 56, 100, 12, 200, 24. My reflection no longer matched my movements. It was smiling fully now, eyes black. It leaned closer and whispered from inside the mirror. We don't need the alert anymore. The elevator stopped abruptly, pitch black. No movement, no signal, no sound, except 3 soft taps from inside the walls. If you ever receive an emergency alert telling you not to look outside, listen carefully, because maybe it's not what's out there you should fear. Maybe it's what notices when you look. Have you ever seen your reflection move before you did? Be honest. If it tapped back, would you still leave the house?